Tassitar's wave clear is a little better because he's got the AoE on both the Q and the W, whereas Chromie's just the W. Yeah, just the W. So probably a slight advantage in the wave clear there. This is a winning matchup long term in the top lane, but like short term, you're gonna lose to the Rek'Sai. The Rek'Sai's probably gonna be able to hold point early, but then you'll eventually stack and overcome, right? So that's something the team needs to keep in mind. It's like, okay, if you're winning that early, you probably need a little extra help, and it's good if you have like a roamer or something to dip top lane and help out.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Demon.
Hi.
Sorry I'm late. Sorry to interrupt.
We
It
don't know where
helps.
Kath is, so we just kind of started on the braxis one.
Yeah, it helps a lot on the top lane to take a camp early. Like that's one of the things, especially if you're playing like a losing matchup top lane, and this is a losing matchup early game, is to have the team rotate up and capture this camp right before objective. That gives the top lane a lot of pressure relief. Yeah, other than that, pretty very similar comps. And then I will say one more thing about the tank pick is that the Anubrak feels a little bit out of place to me because Anubrak's very heavily pick tank in my mind, and you don't have a lot of burst damage, especially if there's minions in the way. The Chromie Q is one hit. You only get the Chromie Ws and the Zul'jin auto attacks to finish kills, and so you don't really have a lot of burst. Whereas they have more of a stand in front of their DPS tank, which kind of plays better with this setup. So something like a Joe or maybe a Garrosh would be better potentially. That's my initial comp notes. Is Kath doing the drafting primarily, or is like everybody chiming in on picks? How does the drafting go?
Yeah, it's primarily Kath.
Okay.
As I recall, that a new pick was later in the draft too. I think she was probably just leaning a little heavy on the Taskdar.
That makes sense. I
but
mean,
yeah.
it's a very good backline to dive onto. If there was a little more burst, say for example, if Django was on. This is rigor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say rigor. It's easier for me. Yeah, if rigor was on like the wave clear instead, and demon was on like Genji, that would make the pick tank make a lot more sense in my mind. If you traded the Zul'jin out for like a Genji, and then all of a sudden diving with the Chromie W and the Genji follow up damage would definitely be a lot of threat onto Tassadar.
Okay.
Tassadar
Yeah,
in particular. Sorry, go ahead.
We thought about the Genji. It was in the game plan, and then they took the Bright Wing, which negated some of the pick potential on that top lane from the Genji because they could see
That's
in.
true.
And the Poly just kind of negates him a little bit. So we kind of switched off that, decided to go with trying to dominate the bottom lane. But then, as far as I remember, our setup got a little messed up. I think they got to pick top, and then I went up to cover, and then we sort of lost our lane assignments a little bit and just got really far behind. Yeah.
Well, just in terms of comp notes, I think a Genji would actually be better here than say if you had to, you still need the wave clear. So if you keep the Chromie or you pick up a different wave clear and grab a Genji would still be a very solid comp, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you're forcing the Brightwing to port top, then you can just leave and go back bottom, and you've denied a pick or
just
the
always
healing on their
worried,
bottom.
like with Genji and a burst damage dealer, for example. Like, I feel like you don't have the sustained damage to like push a tank off of the point anymore. Like you lose your sustained damage dealer,
That's
getting gank potential, which is rough on a map like this where you want to fight over the objective.
you gain gank potential, but more importantly, you gain dive potential.
Yeah.
The tank is gonna get forced off the point if all of his backline is dead,
I
right?
mean,
If the
that's
tank
true.
So it's like Tassadar and Vala are incredibly squishy. Tassadar in particular was a favorite for my team. Had a Genji player, a very good Genji player, and he whenever he saw like a Tassadar or a Junkrat, he was like, "I want to pick Genji." Those were his big kind of like stationary people to dive on that are squishy, and those were his favorites to dive on. It's very strong into that because it's not mobile and you can reflect all kinds of damage with the static puddle and whatnot. So
For sure.
that's it. Yeah. All right. And like I said, the comp could be adjusted too. It's kind of just a mismatch between the tank and DPS pairing. It's like the tank could go off of a noob and more to something frontline, or the DPS could go more to something divey. So it's like
Gotcha.
either way, but
Yeah, we just
it's
need
a
to
little
decide if we're
mismatch in
playing
size.
front to back or back to front, basically.
Yep. All right. I think that's all my early notes. I wanted to tell. This is mostly a note for Kath, but wanted to tell Kath to play up in this area a lot early game. Basically, the tank, the noob, like you don't need to really burrow in because the DPS doesn't have good burst follow up, and so a lot of time you just want to walk in with your shield, auto attack Q, and then keep your burrow to run away if you need it. And then I really like on this map to be able to control this vision in this vision area. So like especially if you can get a Chromie trap in this area, and then all your DPS like Chromie can play back here long range, and can splash stuff across. Just kind of you're off to the side, so you have clear range to shoot past the minions if you want, but you can still hit the minions. And then Zul'jin can kind of play center, Chromie up here, and then the tank kind of hovering in the wings, ready to dive in or just harass people, moving back and forth around. You guys can see my mouse, right? Or no?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, yeah, moving back and forth around this pillar, something like that. And that's mostly a note for Kath. Playing bottom side is not great. You're not really getting much. But yeah, just continue. Like right now, you could be continuously controlling this vision. I do also want to say you guys did a great job of this on the Alterac game, like getting camps on spawn, but like on this game, for some reason, very, very slow with the camps. Ideally, and this is basically every map, ideally you're walking to it as it's spawning, and then you're just showing up just as it spawns, right? Because there's not a whole lot to do down here. You can leave Chromie and sit and or you can leave Kath. Either one can sit back here and catch the wave. And then everybody else can rotate and get beyond the camp right away. Or be on this camp right away. Either one doesn't really matter.
Do you think the Zul'jin sort of takes away from that? Is if I had to guess, and this is totally hindsight, but if I had to guess, I'm thinking like, oh, Kath probably just wants to stack rigor here, like brawl.
Hmm.
Go stacks in early.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue with Zul'jin. I think the camp is valuable enough to where you just rotate off anyway. It's more important to grab your camps and then come fight.
Okay. I mean, in
Because you're
some
gonna have lots of time to fight on these points anyway. And
yeah,
I don't
in
know, the
some
camp.
ways, I always like having the camp behind you anyway, because it's almost like, oh, here's another thing blocking them, getting in their way, and getting.
Yeah, it starts to pressure their tower. It's like if you're fighting here and the camp is just pushing free, and it's like their focus needs to go turn onto the camp to clear it, and then you get some free time on the point, or you get some free trades. It's just helpful to have it.
Yeah.
Same thing with the top lane. It's like this is a like I said, the only way Hoku wins this matchup is by consistently hitting like early game. The only way Hoku wins this matchup early game is by consistently hitting like E's on the Rexar and pulling him out of position. And if that can be hard to do, especially if the Rexar is decent. So um Hoku's just trying to trade as much as possible early. And so having that camp assist in pushing the wave can give you some free time to contest this point a little better. Maybe get a little free charge because of it. The other comment I have for you, Hoku, is if you're playing a matchup like this, like I don't know if you know the matchups well enough to realize that this is losing right away, but if you identify that, okay, this is a bad matchup for me, this is a losing matchup for me, but I want to stack a lot, then you can just be really aggressive early and trade a bunch, and then right about like probably like I think the objective spawn at 1:30 if I'm not mistaken, or 2, I forget. It's been a second. But right before the objective spawn, maybe like 10, 20 seconds before the objective spawn, just go back. Don't use the tap, and then just go back right before the objectives, and then
Okay.
you'll come back. Yeah, there you go. So you get the timer, 20 seconds to go. You
That's when
clear
you're
this
back.
wave
Okay.
mostly, or even after you clear this wave. Yeah, after you run the Rexar off, you can back off and just Hearth right now. Save your tap for after, and then you get full health. You come back to wave to lane, and it's unlikely that he's reset. He's half mana. He's slightly low, and you're back with full mana now, and you still have your tap, and that'll give you a lot more time and ability to contest this, even though it's a losing matchup.
Okay.
So it's a good thing to do. It works in most situations where you have a point to fight over, like Dragonshire or something like that, or even if there's some niche situations on other maps where you can do that to so that you time, like your team is going to go take a camp and you back right before that so that you can come back full health to push with the camp or something like that to get more value. So okay.
Yeah, I've gotten the habit of doing that for BOE, but yeah, I should be doing that on Braxis too.
Yeah, BOE is a great one. Yeah, the 2-lane maps. 2-lane maps are great. Okay. I don't think I have any notes till about 4 minutes, so we're going to speed up a little bit. This is all right. I'd like to spread the DPS out a little bit more. Maybe you guys were all pushing through this choke together, and maybe just want to spread and put one person up here just so you're not all standing on top of each other. Just tends to be bad for like tacit RQs and Ws. But I mean, you guys trade okay. But there is space, especially if Hoku's on point. You already own point. There's like a lot of space for you just to spread out. Like Rigger could be up here, for example, because if they want to contest point, they have to walk in range of you, and Chromie can just be throwing shit from over this wall here. So spreading so you don't get hit by all the AoEs together. Okay, this is fine. A little bit rough them getting so much third, but yeah, I think the camps early would have helped a bit, but that's how it goes sometimes. I think the defense ends up pretty good. You lose like half a keep in the front wall, which is not bad for how much Zerg they had.
Yeah, I think after this is when we started to get a little sloppy on the rotations and things kind of just started to
Yeah,
fall apart.
they kind of just were they were just pushing before you guys were, I think was the main issue. Like they're already on camp just as you guys are starting to go to it. So they're a little ahead in the rotations. Minor note here, this is again for Kath, which is unfortunate that Kath is not here, but um yeah, that's fair. This in this circumstance is fine, but for example, the May turned north for a second there. If you didn't see the May reemerge on the south side, I would be very concerned about like an invade. It's like it's pretty common. Go here and then run in, invade or something, especially if the tank is not there. So, especially since you don't see the Rexar either. It's like they could be rocking in with Rexar as well. 5-man invading.
Mhm. I'm gonna flip that script and be like, we can do that to them.
That's true, but you have to be on your camp
We
before
have to
them.
be first,
You
but
have to be
it would
first.
be like top right on their diagonal, bottom left. There you go.
Yep.
Got it.
And that would be a situation where Hoku disappears from lane. Like you clear the minions out and then you disappear from lane, and then all of a sudden you have all 5 showing up right here.
Mhm.
Take your camp, rotate in, and test them on theirs. Even better if they have people showing in the off lanes where you know they're not all 5 on their camp.
Hoku, do you know why Cass not here?
I haven't heard from her all day.
okay.
She's not online at all at the moment, so I don't know.
Yeah, she messaged me earlier.
Nope, that's
Oh, that's
killed.
Gillian. Hi, Gillian.
I was
Oh, wait a
messaging
minute.
her on my way home and told her I was going to be a bit late, so she did message me back. So I was a bit.
Yeah, I
So-
messaged her about like 5 hours or ago today.
So
to
apparently I
confirm
did
the time.
message her around 4 o'clock Pacific time, and she did respond about 5:15. It wasn't about tonight's session. It was about something else.
Yeah, okay.
It was about helping Jen finish up his Strong League.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I think Kath must have been calling push here, right? Because they rotate top. You guys are clearing the wave, just chilling, and then all of a sudden you see them top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Kath immediately does this, which I assume is a call to push.
Yes.
But okay, I guess another Kath comment is clear this first. Help your team clear this first, and then push. Pushing is great, but the minions actually do a ridiculous amount of damage to structures. I think the basic minions, I think it's like they get like 200% damage against structures or something like that. I forget the exact number, but they have like bonus damage against structures.
I definitely learned that one from you to take those, prio those.
Yeah, so like shove those minions in ASAP, and then you can tank with beetles and chromie traps are actually really good at tanking too. It's like
Mhm.
I think they
Yep.
take at least 3 shots, maybe 4 to kill. So
I
it's like
think so. I think
absorb a lot of damage.
so. Just here was the point where I was talking earlier about our lane assignments getting all messed up because so they get the pick here, they're crashing top hard. They got the hard camp,
Mhm.
and I went back and go straight there. So just something to mentally keep in mind for myself.
Well, one option here is to actually push,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
And,
just
yeah.
keep pushing, ignore the top lane, and just trade. It's like they're gonna get a wall, they're gonna get a keep or a fort, you're gonna get a fort, and then it's even,
Mhm.
right? And your push is pretty good. It's theirs is probably a little bit better, and they do have a camp, but I don't know if theirs is so much better that they can be on your keep before you finish the fort, right? It's like you could finish the fort, and then while the minions are walking down this length, you have time to back and go defend now, and it's a shorter run. So
Mhm.
I'm a big fan, especially maybe not so good if you're trading keeps, but if you're trading forts, a fort for a fort, it's like the time it takes to back and then run this whole distance up to the fort is like it's just so long to do that. It's almost better to just take this because you're here.
Okay.
And if and it would help if Kath was on the same page with clearing this first, just to because
It
you
would
trade a lot of
it would have sped it up.
resources.
Yeah, it would have sped it
Yeah.
up. Sure.
You can also stand here and only tank one turret at a time. Pretty
Mhm.
sure that works. Hover. A team can hover topside. Only tank one at a time. If you are going to push unaided without minions. But yeah, this is rough. This probably the next like couple minutes or so here is really rough because you show up top lane, you do get a kill, which is great, but they've already like took a wall, and in the meantime they rotated down, and now they're pushing bottom, and you're faced with the exact same situation. It's like,
Yep.
do you
Do
rotate again? You
or
just got here. Do you rotate
we
again, or do you just try to trade
crash
again?
crash
Right?
top. Except that
Yeah.
was even healthier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that's rough. You do also, I guess this is pretty obvious because you died. Very much got to respect when you're in the solo lane and just
Yeah,
chill here.
yeah,
Unless you're like untouchable like a Genji or something and you want to just
yeah. No,
mess with
my
people.
problem is I wasn't thinking about the Brightwing. That
Yeah.
was the mistake I made. Is I forgot Brightwing is a thing.
And this is rough. Kath is still clearing top, rotating now. This bush is always your priority for vision,
Mhm.
much more than this. I know they have like you don't have good vision of this, but this is still I don't know. You can see this side and this side. It's a big difference.
Still threatening. Yeah.
And this is much more threatening than this one. So you could get your healer mounted standing in here if the tank is not there. Like this is the as in before. If like right now you know where they are. So like right now, and you decide to go in the camp, you could put healer here where you know they're not in there yet. And then a little while later, like right now, you wouldn't want to walk in there because you don't know where they are anymore.
I
If you're mounted, yeah, I mean, your DPS are healthy. They don't need it right away. This is where Kath should be, but in situations where Kath is not with you guys and you decide to do this anyway, I'm just saying you're the best person to put in there because you're the lowest DPS on the camp. Just and if they're on low on health, yeah, then you'd need to be healing them. If they're low on health, you probably don't even do this camp because the enemy team was like right here a second ago. If you were all low, you wouldn't do this camp.
Besides, Rigger likes to be low health when he does things.
That's true. It's on Zul'jin. Yeah, but if you're mounted, you're very safe usually. Like if you're standing right here and they start walking up this way and you see them right on the edge of your screen, you can already just leave, like run out the other way. And that's enough vision to get your team to back off, right?
and scream at us to leave.
Yeah. You stand here, you see somebody, it's like, okay, time to leave, guys, and then you just walk away because you're mounted. You're right off into the sunset, and then your team also should hopefully do the same out this side. And same thing if they come around up here. Like if you position like in this corner, you'll have good vision of up here, unless they're literally hugging the wall, which is unlikely, unusual. And so if you see them show up here, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm just gonna walk out this way, walk out this side, and team can also do the same. So just providing vision like that, if you're is something you can do.
Look where we're positioned. We're like, oh, they're coming. They're definitely coming.
They're scared.
They're definitely coming. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And there they are.
And this is already like, okay, May's already in slide range. The moment you see her, already in slide range of your backline. It's not ideal. Yeah. Giving it's the right thing. Starting it was a little questionable right after Koku died, but giving it is the right thing there, so. And then this is a little weird. You two should definitely be bot lane helping with the defense there. You kind of just give this up for a little while at this point. It's kind of rough.
I had the loop and I wanted to make a play on the Rexar.
That's fair. I can understand that. If you're maybe on a more mobile DPS, I would be down. Like if it was you were Genji or something, wanted to pop up there real fast before a rotating bot, I would be fine. The only issue is you're the primary wave clear against their push. So
fair.
And then healer doesn't need to be there at all. There's no circumstance where that's necessary. So. But I mean, it's tough when you're on the back foot to think of this kind of stuff. I don't know. The past couple minutes, you guys have been behind on the rotations every time, and so it's like it's a lot of pressure in the moment to try and think of.
Well, that probably was part of it too. Was we got to do something different because they're all
feel like you need to make a play.
Yeah, they're all playing us pretty hard right now. Yep.
Yeah, and right now you guys should be hard turtling because you don't have tens, right? It's like
we don't have 10.
You want to play very safe.
At 100 wave, they're probably even on boss.
Yeah, you can defend it. You can defend 100.
Yeah.
You can defend 100 waves though. I don't think you push up. I think you should be catching this soak and potentially this camp because this 100 wave has to push through a fort and then a keep, and that buys you time. You're definitely going to lose both the fort and the keep, right? Almost certainly. But that time it takes to do that should buy you enough time to catch tens while soaking bottom and then you can defend on core. That gives you a chance to fight on core with 10s and even talent tier at the very least.
Yep.
That was just unfortunate. No CC in range. Kath was on cooldowns on the CC, and then healer wasn't quite in range to catch it. This clearing is fine. This clear is fine. I would be very scared about their team rocking up like from a flank or something.
Yeah, I think
So
I called that actually at that moment.
We were
Yeah, I would be positioned like here with the most of the DPS. I would be up here.
Yeah,
and
Regular was
then-
calling that for sure.
Yeah.
Because I haven't.
Yep, there's the ping.
Danger. Yep,
There's
I'm
the
like, "They're
ping."
coming." I was like, can we get some help?
Yep, you're calling exactly there. Stand back here. And you can stay away from this side. So, yeah, you do want to be defending this. Ideally, I mean, if they're giving you free time to clear this while they're taking the boss, absolutely take it. Definitely, if you are able to drop damage on this backline first, they're so much squishier than the front line, and they do a lot of DPS. So I know the front line drops all kinds of. They drop all the Hydralisks and all the little garbage mobs, but killing these early, if you have the range to do so, is nice. Like the Chromie W across this is very nice. Okay, now they're here. It's time to run away very quickly. And yeah, you're almost 10s already. If you were catching the bot wave too, you'd be 10s already. 10s a while ago. Okay, so you guys are gonna get 10s here, and then you take a fight. I'm glad that you waited till 10s to take a fight, but it also.
But you still don't like it. I didn't
But
like.
you shouldn't have taken the fight.
I didn't like it either, but it was too late to say anything. She's like, "I'm going," and I'm like, "No." I just blew all my cooldowns.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm glad you at least waited to 10, but never fight past. There's almost no situation where you want to fight past an objective if you have the ability to clear safely, right? I think the only situation is like a true act of desperation where it's like you have no, like if you had no buildings and there's like a boss and a full Zerg wave pushing, you fight past up here. You want to fight past it up here, kill them, and then hopefully be able to run back and defend in time. It's like that's when you're fighting past like that, it's like just a desperation play. And it's like you need to kill them early, so you want to fight them way out here before the wave even gets to your base, and then hope you can kill them and then defend. It's like if you have buildings left, if you're not in danger of the game ending right now, absolutely clear this safely behind your walls with your Chromie, with your long range wave clear. Even take it to core if you have to. If you have to give this structure, give the structure and take it to core and fight them on core. Just slowly chip away at this. And then as soon as these last mobs die, feel free to hard engage all you want.
She got pushed out. That's what happened. Ouch.
But yeah, definitely do not engage past an objective like this because even if you kill them all, it's still bad for you. Or it's at the very best situation is just okay. The very best outcome is just okay for you. And the worst outcome is the game ends immediately.
Oh, you swapped her up.
Which
there was nothing there anyway.
is what happens. So.
Yep.
All right.
Interesting that she wrapped the task. I would have wrapped the May and gone on the task. But anyway.
We'll go on to the next one.